certain amount of investment that you've got to make into a business in order to make it work. A startup cost or whatever you want to call it. And
Sure.
so at first I didn't think a whole lot about it because I knew that it was going to take a little bit of money in order to get something going, especially if you were going to design a website and all of that. It was going to take some money in order to get that going.
Yeah, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm fine.
Did they yell at you like over I mean, when you didn't do your homework, was it like, or was it just like, it's not our problem then that you're not advancing, you didn't do your homework, this is on you?
Yeah, it was more, they weren't yelling at me or anything like that, but I had to prove to them that I actually did what I said I did. Um, and it just got um, challenging the farther you got into it because you do it and there was nothing happening.
It's very gaslighting, passive aggressive. Like, give us your money, but you're not advancing, which it's your fault because you didn't do all your homework. If you just did another extra page of homework, you would be further along.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So at what point do you then realize, like, wait a second, like how long was that? Like that this isn't the bright future that I wanted. Like this is a scam or something's wrong. Was it like a week, a month, several months?
It was several months because it was getting right on the 180-day mark where you could dispute your credit cards. So I was right on that borderline um, area of being able to dispute the credit cards.
You realize, okay, and I guess David had asked this. What was the moment you realized it was a scam?
Well, they kept promising me that they would, that within a certain number of weeks that I would be getting something in return for my investment. And nothing happened. And then they got to where they wouldn't respond to my phone calls. They wouldn't respond to my emails. And I'm going, wait a minute. So then I realized that, that something was up. So then that's when I started disputing the credit cards. And that's when I found out that wire transfer that was non-disputable. So then I found out that these companies, in order to file a complaint with the Attorney General, you had to go to the state that company's worked out of. So most of them was out of Utah. So I would file a complaint to the Attorney General there in the state of Utah. I did Washington. There was one company in New York. I filed complaints to the FTC because it was a phone transaction. So yeah, I spent hours and hours and hours filing complaints.
Wow. How did you figure out how to do that? Like, like how did you just like how did you know who to call? Like you just started researching?
Yeah, I just started Googling how do you dispute these charges. And I originally had filed to the state of Kansas, and they said, no, you have to dispute it in the state that the company is working out of. And so then that's when I had to do the research to find what states these companies worked out of, because some of them was working out of multiple states. So I had to find actually where their main office was.
And was this like what, like 40, 50 hours a week that you were like, did this become, like your new full-time job?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bet it's very time consuming.
Yeah, it is. But then once you filed them, then it was just a kind of wait. You had to sit and wait, So I probably spent a couple, 3 weeks doing the filing the complaints and stuff.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, did you call them and say like, hey, this is wrong, I want my money back?
I'm reporting you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I actually saved all of my emails. I have them in a file to this day. And I wrote down some different scenarios that happened during the deal. You know, when they got upset with me, they told me that they wouldn't refund my money, that I wasn't doing things right, that I hadn't did this and I hadn't done that. So I documented everything. So that was a plus in my favor when I filed to the Attorney General, because then they had everything that they needed.
Penny, I don't know if I heard you, but at this point, when you're making all these files, right? How much money have you lost? How much money have you given them?
Over $40,000.
A lot.
Wow.
Lot. A whole year's salary for a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
An incredible amount of money.
And it was all on credit card.
And, once you emailed them and said, look, I'm reporting your ass, did they ever contact you and go, oh, maybe you just said that, but did they ever contact you and go, oh, we want more money, or no, we're not scamming you, here's another course?
They tried, but at that point I was pretty set and knew that I was being taken for a ride, especially when there was more than one company that had done the same thing to me. One company, I got angry enough and they finally conceded and did give me my money back without me having to. Well, I ended up told them that I'd file a complaint, and they got the response from the Attorney General's office. When you file a complaint, then the Attorney General provides, sends that information to the company, and they received my dispute. And that company, I got 100% of it back.
And the others probably just heard from the Attorney General, but just ignored you.
Oh, yeah. Impact Rankings was one of them that was really bad. And they were the ones that had me do the wire transfer or the money transfer.
And then at this point, like, you never heard like Jen Shah or like Stuart Smith, like they were never, they didn't call you. It was always other people up to this point.
It was always other people. I think they said that there was a dozen people that was involved, something like that. And I was one of the lower totem pole people.
40 grand, you'd think that's a big priority. Were the actual police ever involved? Did they ever show up to your house, the police, or the police ever call you? And
no, because it was all out of state. So, and it was over the phone. So there was really no criminal or, no local, that could do anything.